All right, here we are, live with Serena LoPiccolo-Smith. We are very excited to have her on the show today. We're going to be talking about how Serena went from being an agent on a team, becoming a single agent, building her own team, and now is working internationally. Serena from Cape Cod, Massachusetts. Welcome to the show. I'm excited.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Serena and I have known each other a bunch of years now. And I think one of the things that attracted us is you're such a professional in this business, and you came in with that attitude. And I love saying your name. I love Serena. I mean, we'll put it out there, right? It's just a wonderful name. And we come from the ancestors from the same country. My in-laws, my grandmother and grandparents, all of them came from Sicily, and that's from where he came.
Yeah, I'm from Palermo originally.
Yeah. Oh, okay. There you go. Great. So let's talk about your journey into real estate. You're on Cape Cod,
yes.
which is very much a seasonal market. And first, how did you choose real estate? How did you get into that?
Oh, that's very interesting. That's a good question, because I started back in Italy as a pediatric oncologist. And then I was actually sent to New York to work at the Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center to do cancer research, which I did for about 4 years. And then I met my husband, and that was that. So pretty much I got stuck here. We moved to California, we had children, and then we moved back to Cape Cod, to Falmouth, because he got a job at the Marine Biological Laboratory. And when my kids, my youngest, started going to preschool, and then, of course, to kindergarten, I had a lot of time in my hands. And I started, actually, together with a couple of friends, the effort to build a YMCA for the Upper Cape. And I called it Falmouth Once a Y. And so I started networking. I even joined the BNI group, a business networking group, in order to promote this volunteer effort. And we were able to grow it. And at one point, we had over 1,500 volunteers and followers. And sure enough, now it's been almost 10 years. We have a site in Falmouth already purchased or under contract, and they're starting actually building the YMCA. So they're still doing the fundraising and everything. And in the process of doing that, I met Steve Clay, who used to be the CEO of a YMCA for like 30 years before he moved to the Cape and became a real estate agent. And so we were talking. So I brought him into my efforts, my YMCA effort, and he, working together, we got to know each other. And he said to me one day, you are so well networked. You know so many people in town. Why don't you start a real estate career? You can join my team, my group, and you can just, people already know you, they trust you, they know that you get things done. So it's like a natural evolution to become a real estate agent. And at first I was like, oh, I don't know if it's money. I've never been in sale, because back then I thought being in real estate was a sales job. Now I know it is not. Like almost that's the list of all the activities that we have to do as real estate agents. And so at the end, I decided to join his team, and I was on his team for about a year and a half, and that was great. He's extremely knowledgeable and experienced. He just retired just a few months ago, yeah, and he was very protective. So he mentored me. So it was more than a teacher. It was actually a mentor for me. And I honestly don't know how a brand new agent can work on his or her own without being part of a team. There's so much to learn. Yeah. And there's so many, after 6, almost 7 years, I'm still learning every day. I know that people learn after 30 years in the business, right?
Absolutely. I think one of the things, and I'd love you to speak to this, one of the things that a lot of agents starting out, when they look at going on a team, they look at, oh my gosh, I'm not going to make any money because I'm not going to get the commission. I have to pay this guy. I'm building his business, all that stuff. Can you speak to the actual benefit of,
absolutely,
that's not really a cost. It's people. It depends how you look at it. I'd love to hear your take on that.
So I always say one thing. I heard it once and I've been repeating it ever since. It is better to have half of a watermelon than a whole grape.
Yeah.
Right? So when you're part of a team, you do split your profits, but you have no expenses except for your personal ones. And at first, and actually one of the reasons why I left my first team was because I had this mindset. I was like, oh my God, I'm doing everything on my own. I'm getting all my clients, all my leads by myself. Why am I splitting with the team? Only now, after starting my own team a couple of years ago and understanding how much goes into building a team and all the expenses that you have a lot of expenses if you want to do it well, of course. I mean, you can just have one yard sign and two open house signs and be done. But if you do what you're supposed to do and then you invest in marketing, you get a website. Getting a website is so expensive, and then you have to fix it and maintain it, and then you make all the mistakes. Let's talk about all the mistakes that you make as you go and all the money that you waste while you're building.
Before we get into you building the team, so you left the clay team because you had that same attitude where, hey, I'm building this guy's business and I'm not getting paid. Then what was your next step after that?
Then I joined. I got a proposal that I couldn't refuse from Mariana Costa, another excellent agent on Cape Cod, the dream team. And I joined her as her rainmaker, kind of like her COO of the business. And then again, so we worked together. She was still the team leader, and I did learn a lot also from her. She had a big vision and an approach to business that is different than most people. But then again, after about a year or so, maybe a little bit more than that, we realized that our visions were starting to diverge. Right. And so I felt it was time to go on my own and to try as a solo agent. And I lasted about 6 months. Yeah. Because there are people that are born to be solo agents. Yeah. There are people like me that get bored to death. And I realized, even though our office, our market center, that's what we call all the Keller Williams offices, is amazing. They offer so many resources, so many opportunities to talk and mingle and learn, and classes and training in person, online, fun activities. But still, that wasn't enough for me. And actually, funny story, I needed some help because I had a client that wanted to buy way off Cape, like almost in Western Mass. And so it was too far away for me to go. And so we have this Facebook group where we talk to each other, all the Keller Williams. We have over 200 agents in my market center. And so I asked if there was an agent that knew that area and wanted to help me with this client. And so this agent, his name is Wanda Rodriguez, he immediately texted back to me on Messenger. And so we started talking, and then he helped me with this client. And then he started then I invited him to shadow me at a luxury open house, because I like to do luxury listings. I do mostly luxury. And I had this beautiful property in Yarmouth with the dock on Bass River. And so I asked him to come with me. And we worked together really, really well. And so since then, he kept kind of gravitating around me, to the point that he started pushing me and said, you have to start a team. And I was like, no, I'm not ready. I need to be ready. He was like, what is there to be ready? You just gotta do it. And I did feel a little pressured. I already had a virtual assistant with one of these virtual assistant company. And so the three of us decided to start the Inspire team.
Let me ask you a couple of questions about that. You had an assistant before you had a buyer's agent, or you brought on this other agent. Mm-hmm. In your experience now, how important was it to have somebody there as an assistant prior to bringing on that buyer's agent? Because I know so many agents want to skip that part and drop right into bringing on a buyer agent because they think they're just going to build their business. How did that work for you?
That's an excellent question. And the answer is there are models, especially Keller Williams offers very, very clear models on how to build a team. And at first, I was like, all of those, they say, I can do it by myself, but I think it's better. I don't need to follow the model to the letter because, I know better, right? And so I started actually doing things on my own. And I learned the hard way that you must follow the model. And once you follow the model, then you can customize it, adapt it however you want. But the model is there for a reason. It's what all the successful people do, right? That's how the model is built.
So
And
you were actually following the model, even though you didn't know you were about to build a team.
well, I knew what I needed, and I got a coach. So my first step was actually getting a coach, and that helped me understand that I was spending too much time on 80% of all the activities that were not the activities that were actually making me money.
That's right.
So I needed more time to focus on lead generation, lead follow up, on actually client acquisition, on networking, the things also that I'm good at. I'm good to going up there, talking to people, meeting people, building trust, building relationships. And I couldn't stay there trying to figure out how to change the format of a picture. Oh my goodness, how many hours have I spent doing that? And so hiring a virtual assistant actually took so much off my plate and allowed me to move forward. And I had to say that the first few months, maybe even 6 months, are actually harder when you hire somebody new. Maybe 3 months when you get better. But at the beginning, training somebody was really, really hard. Also, because I was building all my systems. So I did not have, or I actually, at the beginning, I wasn't really 100% sure of all the steps, all the things, the order in which things had to be done, all those details. So it took me about a year to build the very detailed manuals, like playbooks, for everything that we do. So I use Asana, which is actually, this is something that I learned from Mariana. Every person I met in my journey so far has taught me something really important. And actually, Joe, you too, because I remember we met when you were the president of the board of the Cape Cod Realtors. And I remember speaking with you, but the beginning, I had just started. I was like a year into the business. And I told you that I was interested in leadership, in joining the board. And I remember you telling me, yes, that's a great idea, but why don't you start by joining a committee? And then you gain a few years of experience and then you can join the board. And sure enough, I joined the Government Affairs Committee, which I enjoyed immensely. And last year, I was chosen to be part of the board. I'm the big director now, and I'm loving it. It's a wonderful experience. So
thank you. And everybody on Cape Cod Association Realtors, thank you, because you're definitely an addition that'll help. And not only do you help them in the realtor community, it's going to help your business as well. You'll be exposed to ideas, not just locally, but you'll hear stuff that's happening all around the country. One of the things I first realized is every real estate market is unique, yet they're all the same. We all deal with the same struggles. We all have different solutions for it. It's going to do you well. It's going to serve you well being on that board. Thank you.
And I love being surrounded by people that are smarter than me, more experienced than me. I always like to be the smallest fish in the pond, so I can learn from others.
Good for you. You had an assistant in place, and you're building out your models. And then, at what point did you bring on this buyer agent that was chomping at your heels?
Exactly. So shortly after, because because I had to, and then we were working so well together. He was also a Spanish and Portuguese speaking agent, so that added to my international aspect of the team. I speak Italian, and I also understand and can speak basic Spanish, and so we could offer all these incredible, more services and cater to a much larger part of the population out there because
That's
of
great.
the language aspect. And it's not just the language, it's also a cultural understanding. Because I noticed that, and I know because I've traveled my life, I've traveled a lot before by myself, and then with my husband, we love traveling. And there are aspects of different cultures that people cannot really understand unless they've come into direct contact with them. And so there's a certain sensitivity that is needed in even communicating with people from different cultures. And so that became part of our unique value proposition, to be able to listen, to understand, to be respectful in a deep way, in a way that, not everybody has the luck to have been exposed to and be aware of.
I think that's a huge point. Most humans aren't good listeners. It's a trained skill for most that are good at it. For you, because you came from a different culture. That's a great thing to have.
One thing that Ivan Meisner, the founder of BNI, always said, and I repeat, I learned it when I was in BNI for about 6 years. And I started as a member in a chapter, and then I became the vice president, and the president, then became a regional director. And I think BNI is an incredible thing. I had to step down when I became a realtor, because there was already a realtor there, and so I didn't want to compete. He's also a friend, and so I had to step down. Otherwise, I would still be there. And they say a good networker has 2 ears and 1 mouth, and use them accordingly. So you always have to listen twice as much as you talk. Absolutely. I don't always do that. I love talking, but
yeah. All right. So here we are. Now you have the three of you at this point. And what was your next step in your growth?
So according to the model, actually, before hiring a buyer's agent, you should hire a showing assistant.
Okay.
Which is a person that you can pay per showing, or you can pay per or a base salary, or however your team. I mean, every team is different, but they help you. They only take care of the showings, either of your listings, or they take care of a buyer or multiple buyers, and they show them all the properties. So you can focus on those activities that you do best. They are like your 20%, that's what we call it. There will be, of course, lead generation, lead conversion, and then negotiating contracts. I mean, negotiation, it's a very important skill. And that's why I decided to take a course and become certified as a real estate expert negotiator.
Awesome.
And I've taken so many courses and so many classes. We did it with one of the main FBI negotiators, who taught us so many things that you don't think of. And so that is, among all, that is an acquired skill. It's something that requires studying and learning and practicing and adapting. And it has helped me a lot, because I have to say that one of the most difficult things, and one of the reasons why everybody should work with an agent, sellers or buyers, is not when the deal goes smoothly.
That's right.
Finding a property on Zillow, anybody can find a property online. That's not why you hire a realtor. Going for a showing, no, you can call the listing agent. But what happens next is what you need a realtor, you need representation for. And so I think that I've been able to keep together some deals that would have fallen through without the creative thinking, without the experience that having attended all these courses and talked and masterminded with all these amazing people have given me.
Yeah, the public has an oversimplified view of purchasing real estate. I don't think these shows that are on TV, they make it look so simple. I love it. Yeah, we'll do escrow. Everything's done. Move in. Doesn't work that way. And to have that skill set and the training that you've had, that's fantastic.
Sometimes you literally have to, excuse me, think outside the box. Like sometimes there are solutions there that nobody sees, not even an experienced agent. Like this is nothing to do with experience. It's creative thinking, in my opinion. It's like, let's step out of what has always been done.
Right.
There are things that can be done differently. For me, and this is in everything I've done in my whole life, it's because we've always done it this way is never an answer. So actually, even more when I hear that, I'm like, let's see how we can make it better. Let's
That's right.
see how we can change it.
Okay. All right. So now, you're still building out your team, and what you started using a buyer's agent. What was that first agent doing with you? Was he just doing full on lead gen, buyer rep, seller rep?
Yes.
Everything?
So he was a buyer's agent. However, I don't like to put agents in a box. So if they have listing leads, then I want them to be able. So first of all, the way I built Inspire, and that's why I called it the Inspire team, is as a training company. So the thing I like to do the most is to teach people, is to train and mentor, especially like newer, younger agents that I have this amazing opportunity to share what I've learned with them and shape them, into great agents and, great people. And this is what happened with Wonder. He's an amazing person who has now left my team, but he has incredible talent and did not yet have the skills to put that talent into fruition. So what I would give him leads, and I like to make this arrangement with people on my team that the team offers 50% of the leads, and they provide 50% of the leads. And the reason for that is that every agent cannot, even on a team, should not rely only on team leads. They have to learn how to fish, right? They cannot just be fed.
Let me ask you about your personal volume and income, because you're going from doing all your business yourself, bringing the money into yourself, all the income's yours, all the expenses are yours too, and now you're building systems, you're coaching agents. How does that affect your income and your time?
Time, that's another story. So, and also, I wake up almost every morning around 4 or 5 o'clock, but that also because I have to take care of my Italian business. And so the times they are 6 hours ahead of time. So I try to split it that way. About income, I want to say that when I was on the Dream Team, that year, I think I made as much as I made on my first year as a team owner, maybe even more. And the reason for that is that according to the model, the Keller Williams model, a profitable team is a team where the team leader makes about 30% of the total gross income. 30% then will go to expenses, and about 30% or so will go to cost of sale, paying the split with your market, with your broker, and all the agents on the team. And so in the end, if you think about it, being an agent on a team, if you can have more than a 30% split, which almost everybody does, in the end, you make more than being the team owner.
Right.
Isn't that right? I mean, it dawned on me that how narrow-minded I was on my first year, that I couldn't see that. I couldn't understand it. Now being on the other side, I realized I had, especially last year, I had an enormous amount of expenses because I hired a second assistant. And then actually for a while I had 3 assistants because one was supposed to leave and I want to replace, so I overlapped them so one could train the other. And that was expensive. And then we built a first website, and then that didn't work out. So we had to go with another website. And then we tried this marketing thing that it was like $6,000 and didn't give us any results. And then we tried this other lead generation thing that was supposed to buy the seats and this and that, another $4,500, zero results, you know. So you kind of make all these mistakes, and they accumulate. I mean, money, the expenses accumulate, and so in the end, the way I see it, and that's how I present it to all the people on my team, or those who want to join my team, is that we are sharing expenses. If you think about it,
That's right.
right? Because like 50% of everything will go to the team, and we'll use that to pay to all the expenses to grow the business. Because in the end, if we want to get more leads, if we pay for some, we don't pay much for lead generation at all. It's mostly Sphere and some online sites and through our website. But if we want to pay for lead generation, then those leads will be distributed to everybody. So in the end, that's an investment for everybody. Right. And then I always like to share at the end of the year, if there's enough money, to share, to give bonuses to all to the agents, and also to the assistants, because they're
so
also
you share some of your profits at the end of the year with your team.
Yes.
Nice.
Very nice. That's the goal. You know, we have to make enough.
Yeah.
And then the more we make, the more and then I like to see, and this is another conversation that I have. So my idea, my vision, I built this vision chart in which I have different departments and different ideas. And what I like is that as I grow, as the team grows, then everybody with me gets pulled up. And so let's say I go up one tier, everybody else grows one tier as well. And so like with Warner, we had decided to start an investment division. And so he was the one in charge of that investment division. And I even hire an investment coach for him, and to learn how to start doing all these things, and do webinars and trainings, and cultivate investors to start working with us. And then another thing that we want to build is a concierge division, through which, you know what it is, I don't have to explain it. Right. And so I'm looking for a person. I had a person, but unfortunately last November she had personal situations for which she had to leave real estate completely. And so now I'm looking for somebody that could replace her and help me become my partner in building the concierge division.
Nice. So here you are, you have your own team, and everything's going pretty well. And then last year, what happens?
Yeah. So I had gotten to a point where it was so nice. I had a listing manager. So I would just get the listing, would get the keys, give them to her. She was also a stager, and she would do everything from that point on. And she was so good at communicating with clients. And then another agent who has experience as a salesperson, marketing person on the phone. She was my ISA, my inside and outside sales agent. And she was great. She converted a lot of these online Facebook leads. So that was last year. This year I had some closing due to her hard work. And then come November.
Before we talk about that, let me ask you, at that point, what was your life like? Were you primarily lead generating and building out your international piece at this point?
That's what I did. Yeah.
You were spending your time expanding.
So my time was spent training and supporting the people on my team, because that takes a lot of time. So and that's something important for anybody who wants to build a team. They have to put time aside to take care of their people, because once you have people on your team, they become your responsibility. And so it was my responsibility to generate leads for them, but also to be there whenever they needed me. And then, of course, I had to do my own lead generation, and also always looking for new system, new things, new marketing strategies, and everything else. And then I spent, I want to say, 50% of my time last year in building my Italian team.
Excellent.
And originally, my brother is
Well, let's go. Let's finish up with your team,
okay.
and then we'll get into the international piece. And we're going to go longer than normal, but this stuff is so great.
Good.
I don't want to stop talking.
I'll talk fast. So
So
okay. So then,
yeah.
so my time was spent doing other things, and I had to say I had gained a pretty good balance in life, because I could focus and would still take care of most of the negotiation. And I worked closely. We had a transaction coordinator, and who was really good. And he would we would review all things. He would give me the summary of everything that was going on. So we had these meetings daily with the assistants, and then I had the 411 meetings with the agent weekly, just to help them grow and help them grow their business. And so things were falling into place really, really nicely. And then November came, and like the shift started to happen, and a lot of agents started going out of business. And so two of my agents decided to take full-time jobs, salary jobs elsewhere. And so I had to get back to work in the business rather than on the business. And that was a big setback for me. And at first I was like, maybe I should go back and be a solo agent. Maybe I should not waste my time being a team. But then I decided, it's almost inevitable. Like, when, if you want to grow, and I do want to grow, you cannot do it by yourself. And so, and
And I
honestly,
think probably too, having tasted what it's like to be a true CEO and working on the business, helping build people, build your business, build the company as a whole, and then go international. That's a whole nother level of type of work, and that's a wonderful place to be, and that's, I think, what everyone strives to get to.
yeah. And if you think about it, I embrace the philosophy that every mistake you make is one step closer to success. It's like it's one fewer mistake that I have to make moving on. And so I put everything. I allow myself to be depressed for about a week, and
Right.
then I'm like, okay, let's regroup. Let's take this as an opportunity to kind of start from scratch again. So I hire a new assistant, and I reach up, because in all this also, that great assistant decided to leave.
Oh,
Yeah. And so, but it's okay, it happens, and there's this natural cycle. And I mean, what are you going to do when people become really good? They all want to fly on their own,
that's
and
the job, right?
that's the job. And in the end, I mean, this is my goal, right? My goal is to, you know, bring them to that level. And now what I understood with these people leaving me is that I just have to create an environment that is such that everybody can find their fulfillment and their career growth within my organization.
Beautiful.
So this is what I'm trying to build now and working towards building now, and I'm sure it's going to happen, just a matter of time.
Yeah, absolutely. I know. Well, knowing you, I know it will happen. Have you changed your approach to hiring? How you hiring people?
So I follow what's called career visioning, which is again another Keller Williams model, and we do. Excuse me, I have.
So we're calling this Keller Williams models. What the reality is, these models have been existing for a long time, and what Gary Keller has done is distilled it into a model that everybody can plug into. It's not, he didn't create the ideas, he just brought all the ideas and made it
Wrote it down.
allow people to plug into it. And I think that was one of the ideas. I didn't know about that. I thought this was all him. He just out of his head.
No.
He's done all this research to take what all these other phenomenal agents from around the country, not just Keller Williams agents, just all these agents were doing, and he's still working on this stuff every day. and you brought it down into something that you can plug into. And it's not, you don't have to be within the Keller Williams family to do that. Anybody can get the book and get these books and tap
And
into
follow the
that.
model.
Yeah, let's follow.
You can decide to pick and choose what works for you. What I've learned is that, follow the model first and then see what happens. And
That's right.
now what I'm starting to do now is I'm not looking so much for a new buyer's agent. I have one amazing person on my team. Her name is Donna Noonan, and she used to be the principal of my children's school, elementary school. And then she and her husband became my best client for many, many years. And so she decided last year to reactivate her license. And now she joined my team, and we work together so well. It's fun, It's and also because fun, it's one of our core values. Like, we have to have fun, otherwise nothing is worth it. And but besides her, now I'm looking more for showing assistance. And so I decided, instead of getting another agent on the team and having to go, we have a 30-60 of onboarding with the tasks and things to learn each step. But there's a lot of training involved. A lot of my attention should be focused on each new person. So I've decided instead to kind of create partnerships with other agents within my market center and ask them to show properties for me and to become my showing assistants. And it will be like a per client basis or a per showing basis. And we make, economic arrangements as we go. And so that could help me, because one of the things that take the most time is the actual driving around. So I want to minimize that. I do everything virtually. I have 3 screens in front of me. And we have to do everything virtually because I have one of my assistants is from Colombia and she speaks Spanish. Another one is from the Philippines. And then I have the Italian team in Italy. So we have several time zones, and I couldn't go to the office. It wouldn't work for me at all.
Yeah, good for you. Good for you. So you're back on track to building a team, which is great. You're already well underway with that. You have people in place. I can't wait to see what the next iteration of your hometown team is. Let's talk about your international work. This is the dream of so many, and I think you have a good story. It's not all pretty from what I remember our first conversation about it.
Oh well.
And yeah, you continue to keep pushing forward. I think one of the best things about you is you're willing to listen. You're willing to get coached. Mm-hmm. You seek out knowledge to make it work, and try not to waste time. Although mistakes do happen out of our control, you're not shy about investing in coaching, investing in educating yourself, which I think is huge for your success. And
from the second year in business.
All right, so let's talk Italy.
Coach is amazing. It's really pushing me every day. And so about the Italian team, this has always been my dream. So actually, I'll share this. My dream, the dream for my future is to be flown around on a private jet by some of my clients to go and consult on properties throughout the world. Right. Nice. So this is my dream, like my pipe dream. And so building a team and also to be able to spend 6 months here and 6 months in Italy, because I have family still in Sicily. I own a house there, and my brother and my brother is an architect, and he's always taking care of our real estate investments in Italy. So we have several investment properties there. And so he's between being an architect and being a property investor and property manager, he had an immense experience in the real estate business. And so we decided to start a boutique brokerage there in Sicily. We wanted to originally do it through Keller Williams, but Keller Williams is not in Sicily yet. And so what we did, we actually invested in a market center in Florence. And so through them, we can also help clients who want to buy properties in Tuscany, which is one of the most beautiful places in Italy. But then with my brother Fulvio, we decided we started a brokerage, and it was insane. So, not knowing how real estate really works in Italy, not knowing what needed to be done, and then since he speaks fluent English, he and his partner Patrizia, they both together, they both speak fluent English, and so the idea was to help foreign English-speaking clients to purchase a property in Sicily. And so there was an additional layer of complication there, because it wasn't just real estate in Italy, it's real estate for a foreigner, for a non-resident that doesn't speak Italian. So there's a series of other things, like they have to get immediately this tax code. It's called Codice Fiscale. How do they do that? The consulate, each consulate is different. So we had the learning curve was huge. So we had to learn everything. Of course, we're still learning every day, but now we have, it's built. It's been about a year. It took us about a year. We already helped several English-speaking clients buy properties in Italy. And now they've become friends. There's actually a couple of them that keep calling Patrizia for, like, even when they have to go, I don't know, they don't know where to go to buy a bed. And so they call her and she gives them advice. And sometimes they meet for coffee and things like that. So it's great also to the idea of creating a community there of English-speaking past clients. And we have several listings too, because then, of course, it's not just helping buyers, you also help sellers there. And right now, actually, the best, this is how part of my dream started to come true, is that we have a $2.5 million listing in Sicily. It's a beautiful villa with a swimming pool. And of course, we marketed it internationally. And we finally found a client from the United States who, well, okay, I cannot disclose. I wanted to say something about this person that would make it more, understand better. But anyway, there's this client who submitted an offer, and so there's an offer accepted on this property.
Nice.
And he wanted to go and see the property in June, and that's why I traveled there, and I spent the whole month of June in Italy for work this time, right? So of course we went to the beach every day. It was almost a month of vacation working remotely, but the idea was in Palermo to an American buyer, and that was like, it's happening. This is happening for real. I love it.
Was there a private jet involved, or did you have to go commercial? There was.
So we took a commercial flight, but there could have been a private jet. That was the part of the story. Yeah. So, but next time there will be a private jet.
That's fantastic. I love that you're reaching for a big dream and you're getting there. It's fantastic.
But and this is something that I want to share with everybody. Reach for a big dream. Like, don't be ashamed. When I say these things, sometimes I say these things, I think people might laugh behind my back, right? But then again, I remember when I started, for example, the YMCA effort in Falmouth, people were rolling their eyes at me. They were like, this will never happen. We've been trying to get a pool here for like 30 years. And now you arrive, you've been in town for 2 years? And you want to do this? Who are you? You are nobody. I mean, people would literally say that. It's happening. It's like, do not take no for an answer. Dream big, and then take all the steps and get all the help that you can to get where you want to get. I believe it.
No one can succeed like that alone, right?
Never. Exactly. And it's not fun.
That's right. Yeah. Serena, this has been fantastic. I really enjoyed this one, talking to you, as I always have. And I look forward to our next conversation. So thank you so much for coming on. If for people that want to reach out to you, how would you prefer them to do that?
They can text me or call me. That's my personal cell. and my website, theinspireteam.com. There's also all the rest, the other contact information, social media, and I'm happy to talk to anybody, give advice as much as I can to anybody, just mastermind. So feel free to call me at any time.
Excellent. Fantastic. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thank
And I
you.
look forward to seeing you. All right. Take
And
care.
next time you come to the Cape, let's go grab a coffee.
That's right. That's right. As always, be your best and have fun.